Welcome back to my channel, Cozy Christopher. So today we're going to be looking at the new DualSense Edge Pro wireless controller from PlayStation 5's new customizable, everything all in, brand new first Pro controller ever. And we're going to be looking at the individual feature sets, and then we're going to be looking at that versus the regular PlayStation 5 controller, DualSense controller, and we're going to be discussing, is it worth it? Is it worth the $200 price? A lot of people are upset with the $200 price, but I got some different opinions on it, so let's jump into it. So let's get the particulars out the way. If this is the first time that you've seen the new DualSense Edge Pro wireless controller, here is your standard PS5 DualSense. It has, of course, your triggers, your buttons, bumpers, your touchpad, your directional, your buttons, your thumbsticks, your mute mic button there, your connection at the bottom, and that is it. So that is your standard PS5 DualSense controller. The DualSense Edge adds additionally the function buttons here on the bottom here, these two new buttons here. This latch right here at the top to allow you to attach your cable and it not fall out while gaming. It adds these two trigger buttons here, which changes the depth of the triggers. Now, this is your standard trigger setting here when the buttons are all the way up. This is midway, and this is all the way down, and that makes it extremely sensitive so that it's not quite a mouse click, but it's closer to it, so it's less of a pull when you're trying to play FPS type games. It also adds these two back buttons, which you can use either these half dial buttons that I have here and prefer, or you can use the lever style buttons as well. There's also a new release button that when you release, this button is kind of sunk in so you don't accidentally push it. It pops off the top piece here. The top piece gives you access to the new replaceable thumbstick modules. That is an amazing feature because if these thumbsticks start to have any type of drift issues or any type of issues altogether, you can remove these altogether and you can take them out by raising these thumb triggers here and then removing the thumbsticks.
It's clinging to the wall! We gotta knock it down!
Behind you! Look out!
Okay, let's get into the replaceable thumbsticks. And a lot of people are, again, I said in the last video, a lot of people are complaining about this is glossy, but this piece comes off, which means you can change it over time. And so let's get into the thumbsticks, the thumbstick modules here, which have the new function buttons on them. Lifting these levers up here, you can take out both modules. Obviously this is the controller without the modules in it. We're gonna set that to the side for the second. Again, with these modules, they are completely replaceable. The replacement parts are $19.99 or $20 on the website. I have the shorter thumbsticks here, and I'm gonna take these off. You can take these off just by popping them up. This is the module without the thumbstick on top. There's a little crown there that you can almost see. There it is. There's your crown. That is what the bottom of the thumbstick connects to. Alternates in the grooves there. And so these are the short ones. You have 3 different lengths for these that come in the casing. Here are the long ones, and you can tell the difference from there. And here are the standard versions there. Now, the interesting thing about the standard ones is that they are concave So they go in, allows your thumb to sit on top, unlike the aftermarket ones that bubble out and have this rounded edge there. I have the shorter versions on there. These feel comfortable to me. And again, there's the shape there. Kind of line it up. You hear a little click when they're all the way on. The other change that you can make on these are the 2 new back buttons. I currently have the 2 half crescent moon sticks on there. Those are the ones that feel comfortable to my hands, but you can change these out for the lever versions. Now, the lever versions, as you can see, add more length to be able to reach down and touch them. Again, I like the crescent moons that kind of there because they're out of the way. These hang a little bit underneath the controller there. So depending on your hands, you may like that because it does sit right there on the middle finger underneath there. I just like the lever because the lever makes it so that you can keep your hand comfortably in this area as opposed to reaching down below the controller there. Those are the physical changes that you can make on the controller. You use this release button down here to pop off the front tray. That allows you to change the 2 thumbsticks. The function button is attached to the thumbstick module, so you don't have to worry about that disappearing or anything like that. The rest of the changes are going to be software based. You're going to put your cable in, you can slide it in like that and then shut the door on it there. So now you have your cable in. You can see the locking mechanism there. Right now it's set to unlock. You simply plug it in, top of the controller there. Slide the lock down to lock, and it will not come out. You have to be plugged in to customize the controller in the accessory software within the PlayStation 5. So let's jump into that now so we can work through some of the customization.
Atreus, look ahead.
Wow. Now this looks like a city.
Welcome to Nidavellir, brothers.
For this, we're going to go into the system settings. We're going to go into settings. We're going to go down to accessories. We're going to go over to DualSense Edge Wireless. And now we are in the custom settings for the DualSense Wireless. And so you have your custom profiles here where you can go in and set your custom profiles. Now you do this once you set your controller. If you want to program your different buttons, your back buttons and different things like that, you can create a profile. From there, you would just hold down the function key and then you would select triangle, circle, cross, or square to select the profile once you've programmed it. So once you have your buttons programmed, then you can go ahead and select it on the fly without having to come into the software to change it. So if you have a setup for Call of Duty versus a setup for Fortnite, versus a setup for, whatever else you're playing, you can set them to the 4 different buttons there. Also in game, you can adjust your headphone volume as well as the game and chat audio balance in your headset should you be in a chat session. And you can do all of that from the controller without having to go into system settings. And so that way you never have to leave the game, which is really important in case you have a headset on that does not have those functions or those features. You can do that directly from this controller. Okay, now we're gonna go in here and we're gonna create a custom profile. So we're gonna go to create custom profile. We're gonna say this is YouTube profile. Okay, so this is where you get to really customize your controller. You can really go into these different settings. So customizing button assignments. Here are all your buttons here. And let's see, let's customize my back buttons here. And so I want to make that let's go, left one is going to be crouch on Modern Warfare 2. And then the right one is going to be, I don't know, let's do, the right one is going to be R3, which is that's the melee attack. So let's do that. So I'm gonna set that one there, stick sensitivity and dead zone. And so recently I've been playing Modern Warfare and Call of Duty all on PC, and so it's been really hard for me to switch back to a controller. And so left stick sensitivity, you see there on the controller where you can change the sensitivity there. So let's go down and we're gonna change the sensitivity to precise. And so that way, as I'm moving the stick or the cursor around on the screen, there's less play. And you can change the curve adjustment, you can change the dead zone adjustment, but that's that. Trigger dead zone. So as you can see here in the trigger dead zone, you can basically change the dead zones of the trigger pull. And so if I wanted to, let's see, that left trigger is aim, and so right trigger is really the one I'm going to be playing with. And so see how quick it is when you click it there and you change the button. So I'm not going to do anything here. I just wanted you to see that you can do this here. I'm going to eventually play with this and get used to see what it is, and then I'll come back to that later. Vibration intensity. I always like strong vibration. I know some of you all are really, really competitive and you turn off your vibration. I'm not good like that. So I'm not like, it's not like the vibration is not going to throw me off. So I'm not going to change that off. When you're using the microphone on your controller, intensity is set to weak. If you use a headset or mute the microphone, the intensity selected there will be applied. If you adjusted the L2, R2 stop slider, the trigger effect will turn off. A lot of people don't know that when you have the microphone and stuff like that going in the controller, it changes the trigger sensitivity as well as the vibration strength on your controller. Because the vibration strength, if it was really up, it can mess up the microphone that is in the controller. And so a lot of people don't know that if you have that unmuted, that it changes the vibration strength. And so this allows you to change the effect intensity there. And so I have my custom profile set up here. You can rename it there, but that is my custom profile. I assign it to circle O. It's now set, and so that's my YouTube profile sitting there. You can see the changes that you made in regards to the sensitivity curve. You see I didn't change anything to the right R3 or right stick, and I didn't change anything to the left trigger or right trigger, so all of that is the same. But you can see my two buttons that I changed for the left back button and the right back button there, left for crouch and R3 for melee in Modern Warfare. So that is how you create a custom profile within the new DualSense Edge Pro wireless controller for PlayStation 5. Okay, so the next we're going to look at is, do you want to receive feedback when you're switching your profiles? So you can turn it on that when you switch profiles, again through those different profiles, that you're going to get some type of haptic feedback, controller vibration as well. Related settings, DualSense Edge wireless. You can show pop-ups during games, during videos, etc., during broadcasts. So That is, do you want to receive feedback when switching profiles feature. So the next customizable feature is the function menu and how the function menu shows up. Do you want to display the function menu when you hold down the function? Do you want to display the function menu when you hold down the function button? And then what functions are displayed in that content? You can change what shows up in that menu there. And so if you don't want the customize profile or select profile or whatever to pop up, saying if you always use the same settings and you don't need the full square down there of options, you can make it so that only one or two of these show up from there. So default profile, selected profile, or all the profiles. The next feature we're looking at is the brightness of the controller indicators. And so basically that is the lighting around the controller. You can set it for bright, standard, medium, or dim. And so that is the lighting that is around the touchpad as well as the light in the touchpad. The mute button, I believe, stays yellow regardless or orange regardless. And so it's just basically the brightness of the indicators on the controller. So that's pretty straightforward on that one. So we're going to come back to take the tour, and next we're going to look at the DualSense Edge wireless controller device software. As you can see here, it says that mine is up to date. You have to plug it in via the USB-C cable to USB-A into the system, and then that is where it will connect the controller and you'll be able to change the software from there. The last active feature that we have here is resetting your DualSense Edge wireless controller back to factory settings. And so if you have kind of switched up some things, remapped some buttons, done some different things like that, and you don't like where it's sitting, you can go into the software and you can reset it all the way back to factory settings, and then you'll go back to the one default profile and you'll start anew from there. And so that's pretty good in case you muck something up and reset and remap your buttons and you're not happy and you can't figure out how to fix it. Go into the actual PlayStation hardware, software settings, accessories, reset your DualSense wireless controller back to factory and start all over without having to figure out how to fix it yourself. So the take the tour function is going to show you the different buttons of the controller, and basically it's just giving you this is what you see when you first install the controller or when you first plug it in through the USB-C. It's basically telling you what the buttons are and how you can use them. Change your button assignments, adjust the input sensitivity of your stick, select the input range of your controller sticks, your left and right trigger in the back there. You can save your customizations as profiles and switch between them while gaming. We just talked about all those features. Use the function button to quickly access your favorite controls and profiles. And I mean, that's pretty much it for the tour. Woo. Okay, that was as fast as I could make that video without skipping any important information. And so let me know your thoughts. Have you purchased this controller? Are you planning on purchasing this controller? Any questions you have, please ask them in the comment section below. If you own this controller or if you own the Reflex controllers, please jump into the conversation below and share with the community so that those that are looking to potentially spend $200 to $284 on a custom PlayStation 5 controller knows as much information as possible before they make that decision. So that's it for me. As always, stay cozy in that crazy world, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.
I like it when you're looking like that. Always try to find too much.